What's going on, everyone? This is Avi from NBA Sesh. You could follow us on Instagram and TikTok and really all the platforms at NBA underscore Sesh. And we usually talk about basketball and we talk about what's going on in the basketball world. But I wanted to really get into also NBA prop picks. I've been doing a lot of research lately, following up on the different other guys that I like that talk about this and do some really great research. So far, I've been successful. I've don't usually do parlays. I'll do round robin parlays with up to three legs, which helps reduce risk and still let you win a lot of money. For example, if you put in $5 and you win 15 bucks, that is percentage wise pretty big percentage. And if you could add that and win every day for the whole season, you're going to have some good money. Obviously, you don't have to bet $5 every game. It depends on your bankroll and how much you have. I think a rule of thumb they say is anywhere from 1 to 10%, 10% being obviously kind of high. So usually I go around 5%, and it really depends on your bankroll. But let's get into this. Here are my picks for today. I use Outlier to really do some research. It's a pretty affordable tool. It's only 20 bucks a month, but I'm not promoting it, so I'm not going to say much more about it. My first pick is Victor Wembanyama over 2.5 blocks. Um, Look at the last 5 games. He hit this at an 80% rate. The last head to head, they only played one game this season, but the last 20 has been at a 50% rate. And if you also look at the last 10, he's kind of been getting better at 70%. Now, why stop there? Let's look at some more projections to really solidify the point. And sometimes I really like seeing all green, but then I look at projections and it's kind of like it doesn't really support my thesis, so I don't go for it. But let's look at Betting Pros is one site. It's free. I like it. Um, if they even have if they have this today, well, I don't know why they don't, but I just had this up. But let's look at Numberfire, which is another free tool to use. Um, there's other great tools out there that you got to pay for. If you're starting off, maybe just stick with the free ones. But if not, definitely invest in this, because if you're trying to make money as maybe even a side income and then just throw away your money betting, then it's definitely worth to consider some of these tools. So here's Victor Wembanyama. He is projected to go for 2.9 blocks, and if even if you do um, the blocks and steals, I like the blocks 2.5 blocks, over 2.5 blocks. So if he does, if he hits three, then that's a good bet. Um, that's a number fire. So let's now look at Betting Pros, another good one. As I said before, sometimes you got to refresh a couple times because they have, well, they don't even have Victor here for some reason. I don't know why. Um, let's see if we could find San Antonio Spurs. Um, Injuries. So he's a game time decision. That's why they don't have him. So if he does play, I'm gonna go for this. He's already in the sports book, so he might play. If not, then I'm gonna look at this again for sure and maybe go with another guy in the Spurs. Um, but you have at least one projection model that shows that he's gonna hit 2.9 blocks. We'll call it three. And then the last 10 and 20, the last 5 and 10 games, he's hit this at a high rate. So that's why I like him. But moving on to the next pick, I also have Victor at 2.5 assists. This is a great mark. He hit this the 60% of the time last 10 games. I think he's been getting really in the rhythm. Unfortunately, they haven't been winning a lot of games, but he's playing the Bulls right now. The Bulls did play yesterday. They played the Lakers and they beat them, so they might be a little tired. The Lakers definitely gave him a good run. I'm actually surprised that the Bulls lost, but this Spurs team is still hungry for another win. I think they just broke their they actually just broke their losing streak, so the Pistons are the only ones. But we'll see what happens today, and we're going to monitor Wemby's injury report. By the way, RotorWire has injury. They update injury reports pretty quickly, like almost right away. So that's another good source to look at for injuries. Next one is Kobe White over points rebounds. I took him yesterday at points rebounds and assists, and unfortunately he didn't hit. But again, based on the last 5 games when he's been starting and playing super well since Zach LaVine went down, you could see here that I was disappointed, but they he slowed down that game. But to me, it was still a great pick. Even the other one that he missed, which was Charlotte on the December 6th, he almost hit it. He was literally 1 point or one assist or one rebound away. So to me, this was a good bet, even though you lost. And that's why projections are so important, because it definitely helps you sleep better at night, even if you do miss it. And do a little research, it's definitely worth it. The last 5 games, and this data, this is when he didn't really play as much. He was coming off the bench for backing up Lonzo Ball. But they're playing a Spurs team that isn't really good at defense, doesn't really guard the point guard position too well. So I'm going with over 27 and a half points and rebounds. And I think he might be a little aggressive this game as well, especially if it will be a close game, since the second game of the Bulls back to back. And let's look at some more projections though, and see see what they say about our man Kobe White. Um, and if you hear that background noise, that's just my cat messing around. Let's see, points, rebounds. Ooh, projecting 19.2. So this is the first time I actually checked, and I wanted to do this on, as I recorded, because this just proves that now your theory is not as strong going in, and now the confidence is a little lower in selecting this. Let's look at number fire. We'll search for Kobe with the C, and we see here he's actually projected higher here at 21.7 and 4.6. So let's say 22 and 4. If my math is right, is 26. And we need him at 27 and a half. Ooh. Okay, so that just shows that he had a great run, and it looks like he's slowing down a bit. And look at the Indiana Pacers. I mean, they had a great run up until when they lost the in-season tournament championship to the Lakers. Since then, they kind of slowed down. Even Halliburton slowed down, especially. They're kind of coming back to reality now. So that does happen. It's a long season. You can't expect these guys to play supercharged for the whole season. So I might not actually select this prop during my final selections. So here I took another Wemby pick. Again, these are not my final selections, but they're definitely the finalists. The reason why I took this Wemby pick is because the last 10 games for steals and blocks, it's hard to argue these numbers. Last 5, 100%. Head to head, again, only one time. But he hit this. Last 20, 55%, and last 10 at 80%. So like I said, he's been picking up steam with this. And they don't allow a lot of rebounds, steals and blocks, for power forward position, but he is 7'4", and he's different. Let's just put it that way. He really is different. Now we'll see how many he's averaging. Let's see, Victor. This is StatMuse, by the way. So over here, you see he is averaging 3 blocks per game. That's pretty impressive, and 1.3 steals. So, and we're looking at, this is Victor Oladipo, but we're looking at Victor Wembanyama. So I'm pretty confident going with this. And again, if this doesn't hit, I'm not gonna be that disappointed. I went with stuff where, they were pretty consistent and they just went over under a number, and it just happens. For example, Joel Embiid was under 1.5 threes for the longest time. He doesn't take that many threes. He's averaging 1 3 made a game. Now went up recently, but I hit that. The time I chose that, he actually hit. He actually had 2 3-pointers. So it just happens sometimes. There's nothing you could do about it. So the next one is the Magic. This is Franz Wagner at over 4.5 rebounds. Again, the numbers, I love seeing green. The last 10, he hit this 90% of the time. Yesterday they played Miami, so he is going back to back. Milwaukee, we have last month he had 6 rebounds. And so the reason why I could personally back this up is because Milwaukee obviously doesn't emphasize defense as they did last year. They're a high-powered offensive team. They take a lot of shots, and if they're off, there'll be a lot of misses and a lot of opportunities for rebounds. Now, Orlando Magic going in, they had a pretty disappointing loss to the Heat without Jimmy Butler. The books had them, I think, even beating the Heat, if not at least making it a close game. And they kind of got, they're down by 20 for a lot of the games. So they only lost by 11. But he has over 5 rebounds, 1 offensive rebound. So he's averaging 6.2 rebounds a game, which is pretty impressive. And the median is 6.5, which is even better because it takes out things like this. So I really like this number, and I'm going to go with it. But let's look at betting pros and see what they think. Let's see what the projections say. Franz, like France, but with an accent. Oh, that's because. All right, let's see. Rebounds. 4.8 rebounds. Okay, so it's pretty balanced. Let's look at the other one, Number Fire. Franz, 4.5. Ooh, so again, very balanced. I'm still going to go for it personally. You don't have to. Of course, this is, just me showing why I'm going for this, because I like the stats really show that it's good. Now I'm going to skip this one. This is another one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Again, all green. He only hit this out of the last 10 games. He only hit this number. He only went over twice. He's playing the Clippers, but at home. And even when you go, so when I saw that he was playing the Clippers, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know if I'm confident about this. But when you see the head-to-head, last out of 5-6, he still only went over this line once. My cat is trying to get out, and you know how cats have, for those who don't have cats, I think they have OCD. They hate closed doors. I don't know why, but so that could be a little distracting. But so I think I'm going to go with this, especially if the Clippers play last night. Also, they could be a little gassed. Paul George might not be playing again. Because if he was, I was trying to see, but they don't have his numbers out, I believe, here. So I really like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at under 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And let's see what Betting Pros has to say. Okay, so they're projecting to go 42.1 points, rebounds, and assists. So I like that a lot. And, you know, the odds are pretty good as well. Again, you guys don't have to go for it. I'm just showing what I like. Now, this one to me is more of a storyline than actual numbers, because obviously Ja Morant just came back from a long suspension. I wish I took this prop because it was also at a high number. It was like, I think it was like only at 24.5 or something like that. He ended up having 34, and the reason why I had a feeling he would is because it was his first game back. You know, the Grizzlies are not doing well without aren't doing well without him, and I knew he just wanted to show up and he wanted to play and prove that he's one of the best point guards in the league right now. And so I think them going up against Indiana, who played yesterday, they played a Charlotte team, they blew them out. I think they're going to have another. This is going to be a hard game for them. They allow, Indiana allows. They allow 126 points a game. Ja Morant's a fast point guard. He loves to he loves to play. He loves to get guys involved. So I think this is a attainable number for him. And again, this is something that the stats don't back it up, because obviously, he hasn't played a lot. But I like this because I feel like, just because it's a high offensive game, a lot of scoring, not a lot of defense. He's going to come out again and play hard. Now, again, let's look at some numbers. 30.5, he's projected 30.2. So it's kind of like in the middle, and it seems like they didn't really. It's kind of like a you never know thing. So here he's projected 29.4. So again, that is tight, but I think it's going to be a close game, and I think he's going to go all the way. This is more of a gamble for me, but I'm going to go with it. So here we are. These are my picks. I'm going to go over it again with you. We have Victor Wembanyama over 2.5 blocks if he plays. Kobe White points and rebounds over 27.5. You could even go with Victor steals and blocks over 3.5. That's a pretty good one. The odds are minus 160, 166. So they're pretty good odds. But you could shop around as well. Franz Wagner over 4.5 rebounds. Kawhi Leonard steals and blocks. I think I'm going to skip this. That's why I didn't really mention it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, under 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Ja Morant over 30.5 points. This is more of a gamble, but is this going to be my final play? I'm not sure yet, but here you have it, folks. Let me know what you guys think, and I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, and good luck.